Hi, Anissa Coy here from Firehouse Education and this week's Ask Anissa video column. I want to, as always, thank you very much for spending time with me on the videos, and I really appreciate the emails that I have been receiving lately, usually one or two a day at this point, and that's very cool. So I want to thank you so much for contacting me. Don't forget to send me your questions at anissa@firehouseeducation.com so that I can feature it on one of my Ask Anissa columns. And with that, we're going to get right down to it. I actually got an email from Neil, and I want to read his email to you because we're going to answer his question. Dear Miss Coy, I've been learning a lot from your articles in R&R magazine, so I hope you won't mind this request for guidance. I have a client who's getting back a rental house from tenants who apparently smoked large quantities of marijuana around the clock. The place reeks, and the residual coating might even create a contact high. We'd be grateful if you could recommend resources for effective procedures and products to remove and remediate the scent. Have you written about this topic before? Thank you, Neil. Okay, Neil, well, that's a little unique. Kind of funny that I have not come across this a lot in my state of Washington, where actually recreational use has been legalized. So, and I know there's a few states across the country that are going this direction. So this is probably a topic that we may be dealing with more often. So what I would do is I would deal with this really no differently than I would cigarette smoke. Okay. So you have to look at, you know, we always want to start with the least amount of invasiveness and work our way up to the more aggressive things that we need to do. We always want to clean, and then we're also going to do deodorization by using hydroxyl. So I would get my hydroxyl set up right away. Okay. Of course, I'm going to assume at this point we're dealing with an empty structure and that all contents and laundry soft items are out of the structure that were in there when this smoking was occurring. Okay. So I get my hydroxyl generator running and going right away so it starts working. Any carpet or any fabric that is there in the structure is going to have to be wet cleaned. I don't care if it's steam or wet, but it needs to be washed and wet cleaned so that you're going to get any odor or residue out of those areas, okay, because they're going to absorb a lot. Now, as far as the cleaning goes, I'm very partial to unsmoked smoke solve wall wash. I use the powder version and putting some 99 deodorizer in that so that I'm cleaning while I'm and doing some deodorizing while I'm cleaning. Now that would be my mild version that I would do if I had serious residue that I could literally test an area of the wall and wipe off and see like discoloration, then, which we often find with cigarette smoke. Then I'm going to be getting more aggressive and I'm going to be using probably Degrease, and then I'm going to have to be sealing and painting. Now, you may need to seal and paint whether you use just a mild wall wash or the Degrease product, okay? But I want you to know, when you use wall wash, you have the option to paint or not. If you use Degrease, you have to paint when you're done using it, okay? So that's why we'll often start with the wall wash because we want to use the least invasive to see if that's going to work. You might test it like on one of the worst affected rooms to see how that works. And yet, you know, if you've got some real, you know, serious discoloration on the walls, chances are you're going to need to do the Degrease and you're going to need to seal and paint. I would say probably 90% of the time when I'm dealing with a heavy smoke situation of cigarette smoke, we're having to do Degrease and we will seal and paint oftentimes. If nothing else, it's often because of the discoloration. Even if I can get the odor out and the residue off the wall, I've still got discoloration on the paint. So it'll wind up usually being sealed and painted. Okay, well, I hope that answered your question, and I thank you very much, Neil, for emailing me that. Like I said in the beginning of the video, send me those questions in, and I just might feature you on the next Ask Anissa video column. Until then, have a great weekend.